Hello favorite people, how are we all doing? You're welcome to my channel. If today is your first time of stopping by, you're very welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so very much. And like I said, if you're a new subscriber, please do well to subscribe, like, share, and leave us a comment in the comment section. And don't forget to click on the notification bell to be notified every time we upload a new video. So in today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to draft a full-scale basic bodice, right? That is simply put, how to draft a top. These are the materials that we'll be requiring for that purpose. We'll be needing our measurement, we'll be needing our pattern master, we'll be needing our tape rule, we'll be needing a seal tape, our pencil and eraser, our scissors, and the patience to draft. So let's just get right into it. So first things first, we'll be imputing our measurements required for this tutorial. Our shoulder measurement is 13, our bust measurement is 32, our waist is 26, our half length is 14/22, our hip is 35, and our nipple to nipple is 6.5. So to get started with this, we are going to be imputing the largest circumference on the body, which happens to be her hip measurement. And her hip is 35 inches divided by 2 will give us 17.5. So we are going to be drafting this block with 17.5, okay? So mark 17.5, it marks 17.5. I'm going to rule that into a straight line. So I'm going to further divide that 17.5 into 2 so we can get for our front and our back blocks. So dividing that into 2, we'll have 8.75. Yes, here's our 8.75. Here is our 8.75. I'm just having about 3 to 4 points to enable me mark that into a straight line. 8.75. I'm just going to go ahead and connect that into a straight line. Now the next measurement I'm going to be inserting is the length of the blouse. So the length of her blouse is 22 inches. So I'm just going to be marking 22 inches from this point. 22 inches. 22 inches. And I'm going to be connecting that into a straight line. So the next thing I want to insert is my vertical measurement. So I'm going to be starting from the shoulder. This line already is straight, so I'm just using that as my border line. I'm going to be inserting her shoulder to nipple measurement, which is 9 inches. Shoulder to nipple measurement is 9 inches. 9 inches. 9 inches. And 9 inches. I'm going to be connecting that into a straight line. Now, because we are using our bust dart technique, our front length is longer than our back length because of the presence of the bust. So because of that reason, the difference between her front and her back is 1 inch. So I'm just going to be marking this 1 inch away from this back part. So like I said, this place is my front bodice. This is my back bodice. Okay. So I'm just going to be connecting that into a straight line. Okay. So all this place is going out. All right. Now our front is 14 inches. Like I rightly said, because we are using the bust that technique, the front half length is going to be longer than the back length. Don't worry, by the time I'm done, you will understand why. I know you'll be wondering how it's going to match up, but we'll be introducing the bust that so that by the time we fold it up, the sides will be equal. All right. So for the front, because I've taken 1 inch, so the front length is 14 inches, right? I ruled that into a straight line, while for the back is 13 inches. Now the next measurement I'm going to be inserting is neckline measurement, which is a standard neckline is 3 by 3. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to measure 3 by 3. All right, like I'm doing. I'm just going to measure 3 inches here. I'm going to measure 3 inches here. I'm going to measure 3 inches here. I'm going to roll that into a box, a square first, before I roll it into the round neckline, right? 3 by 3 for the front and 3 by 1 inch for the back. I can rightly see me do. So this is me gently. All right. So I just roll that into a straight line. Okay. And then there you go. All right. So the next thing I'm going to be inserting is our chest line measurement. And to get our chest line measurement, you divide our bust measurement by 6 plus 2.5. It is standard. That's the formula for this method of pattern, and the formula I'm using for this. Most of my basic bodies, that's the measurement. All right. You divide your bust by 6 plus 2.5. So what I have here is 7.8. So I'm just going to go here ahead and mark my 7.8 all the way to the front, to the back, sorry. 7.8 and then 7.8. I'm going to roll that into a straight line. I can now go ahead to insert my shoulder measurement. So I'm just going to place this here. Her shoulder measurement is 13, which is 6.5. So I'm going to measure this. I'm just going to measure 13 all the way. All right. And I'm going to connect that into a straight line. So this is our chest line measurement. This is chest line. So this is where my shoulder line is going to stop at. Right? So here you go. Now our shoulder slope for the front is 1.5. So I'm just going to go here and mark 1.5 on this part, like I'm doing. And I'm going to connect it to this neck width. Right? Then to insert the shoulder measurement for the back, I'm going to be taking a 0.75 tightening on this waist area to take care of the zipper, because our center back is not straight. So I'm going to take out 0.75 from this point. Here's our center back. I'm going to measure 0.5 from this straight line here and connect it all the way to the shoulder depth of our back. All right, to this place. Then I'm just going to go ahead and connect this. Okay, I connected it from this place to this place, not to this top here, to this place, right? Now, from this same place, I'm just going to connect that to a straight line. I'm going to connect it into a straight line to the hem. Remember that all this part is going out. So all this part that I just marked now, they are going to be going out. All right? Now, because I've taken care of this back tightening, now my shoulder is going to be a bit slanted for the back because of what I just did now, because of this part I took away. So I'm just going to place my tape on this new center back line and measure my 6 and just mark my 6.5. And then I'm going to take this part up. I'm going to mark my 6.5. So by doing that, I'm going to be having a slant instead of a straight line, because I've already factored in the zipper tightening. You know, when you get to see some outfits that you have them bulging, it's as a result of this part not being taken care of. So you just want to factor it. This reason is because your back is not straight. All right. Now our shoulder slope for the back is 1 inch. So I'm just going to connect that into a straight line. Okay. And there you have it. Now the next thing I want to do, from this chest line, I'm going to go up by 2 inches, and I'm going to mark that. I'm just going to mark that with my tape, and then I'm going to go in by 0.75. Okay. I'm just going to go in by 0.75. Now I'm going to connect from this point to the shoulder tip, like you see me do. Okay. Sorry, I was supposed to have connected this neckline measurement. So let me just go ahead and do that. Okay. So now I'm just going to go ahead on this chest line. This is where I'm going to be inserting my bust measurement. And her bust measurement is 32. 32 divided by 4 will give me 8 inches. So I'm just going to mark 8 inches here. All right. And I'm going to use my curved ruler to connect that. Okay. Like you see me do. Right. So your curve must not necessarily touch this point, provided that it rests on the line and you can connect here and here. That works perfectly fine. So we are done for the front, sorry. So the next thing, to get the curve, the armhole curve for the back, we're going to be measuring from this point to this chest line. Everything we have divided by 2. So we have roughly about 3.5 inches. So I'm going to be marking that, and then we are going to be going in by 0.5 inches, 0.5 inch, and I'm going to be marking that. I'm going to connect that to the shoulder tip, and then I'm going to be going ahead to insert my chest line, my bust measurement, which is 8 inches. All right. So I'm just going to be using my ruler to connect that into a straight line. If you notice, when I was curving, I used this curvier part of the ruler to mark the curve for the armhole for the front bodice. But for the back, I'm going to be using the outer ruler, like you see me do right now. And as much as possible, let this part connect. Maybe it's because this person I'm working, this measurement is for a petite person. So that is that about that. So we are done with that. So the next thing we want to do is take our waist measurement. Her waist measurement is 26. 26 divided by 4 will give you 6.5, right? And I'm going to be taking that at 1.5 inch That's 0.75 into 2, that's 1.5. I'm just going to mark that here, right? Then on the hip, her hip is 35, so which was what we used to create the block. So I'm just going to connect that into a straight line, okay? From here, I'm just going to be connecting from the bust measurements to the waist, and then from the waist to the hip. So I'm just going to be connecting this all the way down, all right, like you see me do. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to do the same thing for the back. So on this part, I'm just going to be measuring a waist divided by 4, 6.5. I'm going to be adding 1.5 inches, right? Then I'm going to connect that into a straight line, like you see me do. Don't worry about the shape. The shape might look funny, but by the time we take in our dart, everything is going to balance out, right? So having done this, the next thing we want to insert is our darts. And to insert our darts, we are going to be needing her nipple to nipple, from one nipple to the other, the measurement. And what we have is around 6.5. So 6.5 divided by 2 give us 3.25. So for this place, I'm going to be placing this on this part, 3.25, and on the bust point, I'm going to be placing 3.25, right? On the hem too, I'm going to be placing 3.25, and I'm going to be connecting that into a straight line. All right. So the next thing I want to do is to place my dart. Like I said, my dart is 1.5, so which means I'm going to be dividing 1.5 into 2, and I'll be taking 0.75 on the left and on the right. So let me place it this way, 0.75, and from here to here, I'm taking my 0.75. Now this is the bust point. I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch. I don't want my dart to reach that point. And on this hip, on this part, I'm going to be, on this hip line, I'm going to be going up by 2 inches. That's actually where my dart is going to stop, okay? Having noticed this, having marked that out, I'm going to be connecting this from here to this point, and from here to this point. I'm still going to be doing the same thing from this place to this place, and from here to this point. Okay, now that is that for the front. Now to insert for the back, you remember that we had already taken away 0.75 inch, and if you're going to be inserting this dart like this, it's going to be slanted, and we don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to place my tape on the new center back line and measure my 3.25. I'm just going to measure it. Now, when I mark that point, I'm going to place my tape from that point to the end of the straight line, from that point to the end of the straight line. So I had 3.2, and I'm going to take in that 0.75, adding it back. So that's give me 4. I'm just going to measure 4 inches from here to here. But on this bust point, I'm still going to measure my 4 inches up to this line, because I don't have any bust in the back, right? I'm going to connect that into a straight line. Okay, and then I'm going to open it up by 0.75 like I did for the front. So I have my 0.75 here, and then I have my 0.75 here. So, like I said, for the back, I'm not having bust. I'm just going to maintain this bust line. That's where my dart is going to stop. But for the hip area, I'm just going to come up by 1 inch. That's where my dart is going to stop. I'm just going to connect these parts, connect them into the wedge-like shape you see I'm doing. Connect here and here. Okay. Okay, so there you go. So we are almost done with this. So the next thing I want to do right now is to insert the difference between my front and my back. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come here on this bust point line, and I'm going to come down by 1 inch. If whatever you came down by, if it is 1.5 or 2 inches, you do the same thing. That's the difference between the front and back. You come to insert it on this side of the bust point. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and connect that. All right, I'm just going to connect that, but my dart is not going to reach. I'm going to measure 1 inch away from the bust point. All right, so I'm just going to connect that into a straight line like you see me do, and we are almost done. So the next thing I want to do, I want to alter this neckline. I will do 3.75 for this and 3.75 by 3.75. Like I said, this 3 by 3 is a standard, all right? But I want to alter it, which is what I'm doing. So 3.75. I'm just going to measure that. Just going to measure that. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and curve this. Sorry. Okay, and I'm going to do a little bit of tightening. I don't want this from this pattern. You can see that this shoulder tip is pointing upwards too much, so I'm just going to come down by 0.5 inch. I don't want it pointy. Okay, you see, one of the beauties of pattern drafting, you get to see what your outcome will look like even before you start transferring to fabric. And for this back, I'm going to come down by 6 inches. I'm doing 6 inches, but I'm still maintaining my 3.75 for the width like I did earlier. Okay, so here you go. Okay, I think I need it a little bit steeped. Need it to be a little bit steeped. Okay, so I'm just going to come up by the sides by 1 inch, or let's do 1.5 inch. 1.5 inch here, and then 1.5 inch here. I'm going to connect it. I want it to be curvy. I don't want it to be straight. I'll do the same thing for this side. Okay, and there you go. So the next thing I just want to do at this juncture to start cutting this out. So as you can see, when I came to this dart, I didn't cut exactly, because you understand why when I am cutting that part. So I just want to pay keen attention to this. So right about now, I want to transfer this bust dart to my shoulder. I want to transfer this bust dart to my shoulder, so I'm just going to measure this shoulder part. Everything I have here, about 2.75, and I'm going to divide it by 2. Okay, I'm going to divide it by 2. I'm going to mark that point, and I'm just going to go ahead to connect here to the bust point. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Your cuttings shouldn't have any pointed edges, so in a case where you have that, you just want to make sure that you blend. Okay, you blend with your curved ruler. Let me show you how to do that. Just use your curved ruler to just blend, so you don't have any pointy edges or sharp points on your pattern. All right. So okay, there you go. Now, for me to be able to close this dart, I have to open this dart. So I'm just going to, okay, let me just extend this to the bust point so that it will better give me, let me just extend this, right? So I'm just going to slash this part, okay, to the bust point, and then I'm going to close this dart. Just watch closely what I'm doing. I'm just going to form a crease line. A crease line is more like a line, like when you make a fold. So I'm just going to close it and let it rest on these other parts. From this line, as you can see what I'm doing. The new line that I drew up to the bust point, I'm going to fold it and let it rest on the bust point line. And then I'm going to use my seal tape to secure that in place. Okay. And then, remember I said I had to leave extra paper here for a reason. Now this is the reason. As you can see that this line has alternated. So I'm just going to use my ruler to reconnect to the waistline, ensuring that this waistline and this chest line measurements, they connect like you can see. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out. Right? So there you go. Having done that, I'm just going to cut this open. Alright, so there you go. My pattern is ready. Okay, my pattern is ready. So this is it, and this is for the front and this is for the back. So guys, I hope this tutorial was helpful to you. In my next video, I'm going to be transferring this pattern to fabric, and I'm going to be making a dress from it. Please, if this is your first time coming to my channel, please kindly subscribe, like, share, and don't forget to leave us a comment. Would appreciate it. Thank you so much. See you in my next video.